Hey guys, so went short in here. Looking definitely for lower prices. Basically a ATM model short. I wanted to see that we basically deliver right here as a inversion fill gap. I really like how we reacted to consequent encroachment. We're now approaching basically, or we are already in D10A macro, so I'm now looking for speed lower, and ES is already aggressively trading lower, so therefore I want to see that NQ follows ES. So I'm looking definitely at the lower of basically the New York open kill zone, sells a liquidity. Right here the upper quadrant, consequent encroachment, and lower quadrant are still the daily quadrants of our of Friday, basically, the wick right here. That's basically still right here. So we have no new opening range gap, as you can see right here. But what we have is still basically yesterday's new opening range gap, which I am looking at. So we're definitely trading lower. Definitely have to see how ES is trading. So if we take the New York open kill zone, sells a liquidity on ES, I will definitely take a partial. Also the liquidity basically below the news delivery at CPI is definitely a target. So I took one partial right here at the 8:30 opening. I really like the displacement lower now. We have to see. So we definitely have to reach the midnight opening price. So yes, already now scrapped the 8:30 low, so the news low, And with that we already, so because 830 is the low of the New York Open Kill Zone on yes, we also have SMT with the New York Open Kill Zone sells liquidity, but in that case, because we're really close to it, I regard that basically as engineered sells liquidity. Definitely we can get stopped out here, but it's definitely still possible that we reach for lower targets, for lower prices. Possibly could also be that we would even trade back to Asia lows into the higher time frame gap in here. But yeah, definitely not the easiest trading conditions. But I really am content with the entry in here. It was a bit aggressive, I have to admit, but it was only due to the fact that I had maybe a wrong stop loss placement in here. So maybe should have just kept it above the inversion file gap and just commit to the trade, because it played out actually quite nicely, and then the risk to reward would have been even way better. Yeah. And we got stopped. Wow, I did not expect it that NQ would be that aggressive higher. Would have expected that we would definitely reach for the midnight opening price. That's probably even still, yeah, we are probably even still not trading higher. Still have really huge high resistance conditions. Yeah, now we're trading lower. I like that actually. I want to see that we still reach for lower prices. We enter with one contract. I like to close below the wicks. Put my stop just above the consequent encroachment level of the higher time frame gap. And for my profit target, I will aim for the midnight opening price right here. I want to see that we trade lower. Actually, don't even trade above the order block right here. Use it as resistance once again. So basically, I would have liked that this, or I would like that we formed a high already within the suspension block. And now reach basically for the engineered sales liquidity. So on the S, we already swept even Asia lows. That's a bit problematic. In that case, maybe even just looking for one leg lower. Here we have to see. Lowering my risk, basically break even now. It could be possible that now a low is actually in, because we scrapped the New York Open Kill Zone sales liquidity, traded back into the midnight opening price, everything we want to see in here. But I'm just looking if we can even reach for Asia lows or maybe a bit lower. and maybe even resweep basically the wick right here. If not, I'm getting stopped. I'm content with that. I already had basically wrong money management today, basically due to the fact that I had my stop a bit too tight in here, got stopped, went in once again, one really good partial in here as well. And yeah, now we have to see. For now, it doesn't really look that we are actually bullish. Yes, it's still looking bearish, trading lower. So maybe we can even find or maybe we will form basically our low at 10:30 around that. Yeah, that's what I want to see. Would be great if we can displace basically now through the midnight opening price and close below it. It's a bit more difficult if you trade with one partial. So basically, yeah, it's way more difficult. So maybe should have not also like here trade my stop a bit too tight. Definitely, maybe should have just kept it above the order block right here. High, so what I mean above the high of the order block, so the up close candle. Then we could have folded. So the partial right here is definitely perfect, and that could have been basically also a add opportunity to enter right here with two contracts. To me is a bit too aggressive, so half risk is the right approach, but because I'm only trading two contracts for my normal risk, basically one contract is my half risked already, and in that case we are not really able to take partials in here, because then I would be fully closed and we would not basically be part of the potential move to the Asia lows right here. Now that's looking good. So that's what I want to see actually in that case. I will put it a bit lower if we can basically extend a bit more to the downside, also back to consequent encroachment. And we have to see. So we can definitely get stopped in here. It's definitely a potential there. But now, because we already broke through the midnight opening price, I want to see that we try back to the Asia lows. Definitely would be a really clean target if we could hit that. And then we are actually able also to look for longs. But yeah, depends on how we will deliver. So yes, is still also looking bearish, trading lower, but yeah, way ahead of the NQ. So we have to be really really more cautious. Looking good. Reaching lower. I really would like that the order block right here could deliver as resistance higher, so that we don't trade above it. Yeah, that's what we want to see. We only traded back to the opening price and already traded lower. That's really perfect bearish delivery in here, low resistance. Come on. Nice. Got filled in here, so really clean delivery actually. Would have not expected that we would actually get our expansion back to the Asia highs, but that's the reason why I don't want to take my full position off basically at the midnight opening price. If ES is already ahead of NQ and we have really clean targets lower, not only Asia highs, but also more importantly on regular trading hours, we have the consequent encroachment level of yesterday's new opening range gap. And to me, that's really clean, a really clean draw for price. Why? Because we only traded higher yesterday. So therefore, this inefficiency was only delivered with higher prices. Therefore, to see a move to the downside, delivering lower prices, is perfect if we want to see that region basically gets balanced and gets basically then utilized as a balanced price range. So therefore, to aim for consequent encroachment in here is perfect. Also because lower wouldn't be, well, we would expect high resistance with entering the higher time frame gap right here. Definitely no. How you say it? Yeah, just a really clean trade actually. I would have liked that we sweep the New York Open kill zone buy sell liquidity in here. Then the ATM model would have been way more valid and a way more quality trade in my opinion. Still, I really like the entry within the inversion favor gap right here. So that's basically the right approach, that we don't look for longs in here. Why? Because we keep basically regular trading hours and also the drawn liquidity basically in mind. We don't want to chase higher prices, even if something like CPI looks really bullish. I am content with the break even in here. I mean, getting stopped is fine if we do not lose in that case. So to be break even is always basically okay. Still in here, the right approach would have been basically to keep your stop just above the inversion favor gap, maybe even a bit higher, maybe even a bit above the high of the down close candle right here. And then we would be really patient, maybe add even one more here, and then just take one partial here and one partial here and one partial right here. So yeah, definitely a clean delivery. Still really content with today's trading day. I like the first partial right here. Still right here, it's basically the same. We could have kept a more wider stop above the up close candle right here, and I like really the re-entry in here. So that was anticipated basically the right way, that we only have engineered sales liquidity in here. The draw is still lower, basically that's only a retracement, which is definitely aggressive in high resistance, but yeah, we just have to accept the fact. I like the close below the wicks, entered in here and took basically my take profit right here at consequent encroachment. So what did we made? So 84, basically 84 US dollar at the first partial. That was basically the break even, and 171 the second trade. So really good win actually. And now we are actually also able to look for longs, but that depends now on the higher time frame draw. So we already swapped by the liquidity in here. Still, the wicks right here are really inefficient. So wicks are gaps. We want to see that we trade basically back to them. Also take a look on the daily chart. Yeah, looking really weird. So difficult daily bias definitely, with having huge wicks to the downside, to the upside as well. We already swapped daily buy sell liquidity, therefore you should be a bit more cautious definitely with looking for higher prices, and therefore the ATM model is already valid, I would say, even if we did not swap right here the New York Open kill zone buy sell liquidity. We already swapped the daily buy side liquidity with CPI news. Therefore, we are already basically manipulating higher with the news. 930 basically is a bit the same, just running on stops in here, and then we can trade lower. Now I want to show you as well once more regular trading hours, because right here it's a bit more cleaner. So yeah, definitely we could have hold even for lower prices, but with only, once again, trading only one contract, we have to take one off at consequent encroachment. So that's definitely a reasonable area for price where we can start a reversal. Still also to look for the quadrants of the gap right here is still possible at basically first day's new opening range gap, or even to close basically the whole gap in here that we even reach for the low of the new opening range gap from yesterday. Yes, as I already mentioned within basically my trade, is way more or is ahead of NQ. So maybe drop to a 1 minute chart. You can see that we so right here with 930 we only traded a bit higher into the inefficiencies right here, and from there we only traded lower, so a bit more cleaner, a bit more low resistance. Can also drop to a 50-minute chart right here. Also back to regular trading hours, we also do have the new opening range gap right here. Also the one right here would be really interesting if we reach for the low right here. And also like down here, we still have a huge inefficiency regarding the new opening range gap. If we drop to a daily chart, we can also maybe delete the wick right here. We have SMT with NQ. We are trading at all-time highs already. And we also swap daily buy-sell liquidity in here. Back to electronic trading hours, so that's daily buy-sell liquidity. And yeah, so I think that's basically it. But we will see. Maybe I will still take a long. But right now it's looking really bearish actually, so there definitely has to be a smart money reversal, because right now it looks like that we are within a market maker sell model. And yeah, so I think maybe I will see you later or not, or I will or you will basically well see me in my next video, so I have to see, but that's basically it, and see you soon.